into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for
to Stones Live. We have a great game for you tonight. It's mixed games night here, and we have a fun PLO 8 game we're bringing to you. I'm in the booth tonight with Andrew Walker.
Hey everybody. So basically they're playing 8-handed PLO 8, so I haven't actually seen a PLO 8 game outside of Vegas, so it should be fun to watch. But yeah, we got Hollywood in there. We got a couple other guys that are really good at pretty much any limit game. So I'm kind of interested to see how they do when it goes to pot limit, because I've seen a lot of the guys at the high-low games, but not the pot limit version. So it should be fun to see how they adjust their games and their ranges.
Yeah, I'm really excited to analyze some of these hands. I want to see what people are starting off with, what hand selection different players are choosing. And you know, this is a game that's played mostly post-flop, and I really am looking forward to seeing the different player styles and how they are breaking these hands down after the flop and how it's all going to go.
Yeah, that's the main thing I want to see is how the ranges adjust from a limit game. So I see a lot of these guys in the limit games, and I know their range is there, and I just want to see if they expand the range and try and outplay people post-flop. So interested to see.
Yeah, this should be a good one. Let's say hi to some people in the chat. We've already got some people here. Come join us. Jump in the chat on either Twitch or YouTube. We will be interacting with you guys. I see a familiar face always, Poker Pro Eric. Hey, what's up? I also see Israel Ron. He's in there. Hey, he said hi, Kasey. And I see Rick and Barstow. Good to see you, Rick. As well as Mr. Ford Garrett. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you. And my friend says hello. You guys go ahead and hit subscribe and follow as well, so you can be notified whenever we go live on the game. We're going to be getting to the table shortly, and we can introduce some of these players.
Seat 1 is like Dennis.
Mr. Dennis in seat 1. Like the beard. Beard is in. So we also have a hand here between Ryan and Mike. Ryan was in the big blind where Ryan was on the button. Looks like Mike got the best of it, and it looks like he's going to take it down.
And so the buy-ins for this game is 200 minimum, and then a 1,500 max buy-in originally, and then it's table max after that. So the stack should be getting fairly large as the stream goes on. Goalie's asking how often is this game ran at Stones. This is, I think, the first time I've seen PLO 8 here.
You know, it's not too often, but now we're doing mixed games on Monday, so I think we'll be seeing more of it, which I'm excited. I'm currently working on my mixed games, so I'm excited. I think being in the booth is actually really going to help that. Right now, we've got Antonio with the large stack at the table with 2.8K, and our short stack is Ryan at 180. Seat 8 is Ryan L. I missed some of the other.
Yeah, Hollywood's going by Stormtrooper today, so he's got his little Star Wars figurine for his card
there's
holder.
Hollywood in seat 7.
Yeah,
yes,
so he's going by.
face.
He's making us call him Stormtrooper today.
Okay, Stormtrooper, not Hollywood. And always a familiar face. I see him in a lot of the tournaments and the cash games on the streams frequently.
So Hollywood's another guy I see a lot at the Limit Omaha High-Low. So I've never seen him play pot limit. So he's one of the guys I'm really interested to see how his range adjusts. But he's very solid at
Hollywood, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very solid at limit.
Mike, get there, Apostle. Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces. Also, seat 5.
So,
he's super familiar to the stream. He's always playing in a lot of the larger stakes games as well.
Joseph's asking, how does this game work? So basically, it's Omaha. You get 4 cards. You use 2 in your hand, 3 on the board. And this game is special because it's high-low. So half the pot goes to the low hand if it qualifies. So 5 cards, 8 or lower. And then half the pot goes to the high.
Right. Yeah, so if you want to win the whole pot, you've got to get the high end and the low end. In order to qualify, the board has to have 3 low cards. So 3 of the low cards, 8 or lower, and then you have to match 2 of those in your hand. It can't be paired like deuce, ace, deuce, 3. They need to all be like ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, or 8 or lower, no pairs.
Mr. Smiley, this is high-low. It's pot limit, Omaha, high-low. So it should be fun.
Hello, I see another face, Joseph Vita and Mr. Smiley. It is high-low. And I see one Gully Foil. Hi, welcome to the chat.
So did you get a chance to see the chip stacks before they started, or?
I just saw what they put up just now, and it looks like we've got a wide range from just under 3K to about $200. So should be interesting, the chip stacks.
Nice. So this game gets more and more fun the deeper it gets, so hopefully they all get above 1,500 here after a little bit.
Yes, the stacks should be getting deeper because they can buy in for the max stack at the table. If someone doubles up, you can instantly match that stack. Hey, what, Bri? How's it going? And Daniel, nice to see you.
I don't believe they have a kill pot in this game. I could be wrong, but I believe it's just straight 5-5.
Yes, I have not seen a kill pot option.
Although a kill pot and pot limit would be gross.
Yeah.
So you said you play a lot of pot limit Omaha High, right?
That's not my main game, but yeah, I've played quite a bit of PLO. It's a lot swingier than No Limit, so I do PLO at the lower limits, and then I play No Limit at a lot higher limits. Yeah.
High-low is also very swingy.
Yeah.
I'm sure once you add the pot limit element in it too, it's probably gross.
Yeah, I've just been studying a lot of my PLO 8 just recently, looking at different hand selections and how to actually play post flop. And so I think this will be even better for upping my level of PLO 8. I'm trying to get more involved in the mixed games. A lot of my poker friends are saying, it's really where a lot of the money can be made nowadays because the level of play has increased so much in No Limit Hold'em. Whereas in a lot of the mixed games, there's still a lot of really bad players.
You get a bigger edge.
You can get a lot bigger edge if you study and work hard at your game.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of the stud variants, but you don't see that a lot either now. But this game, when I first started learning how to play high-low, the issue I had a lot is I would raise and end up quartering myself, which is terrible to do. And
right.
the other guy will get mad at you.
Right. You don't want to be quartering. PLO 8, you're really wanting to play to scoop.
Yes.
So that's the goal. You can't be afraid to fold in this game. Even nice hands are often easy. Should be easy folds post flop, just depending on the board.
Yeah, the worst place to be is to have a good hand high and a good hand low, but not have the nuts at either one and end up just getting scooped by two better hands.
So we've got a call on the button. He's playing a 7-5-4 deuce with one suited 4-5, and then we've got Mike in the small blind who has got the ace jack 7-7 suited of hearts. And we don't know what Antonio or Ryan have. They're in the big blind in the cutoff. We do know that Antonio has one of our larger stacks of the table and Ryan with one of our short stacks. Board comes ace king 9 rainbow, and right now Dennis, from what we know, but Mike has the best of the high end, and Dennis right now looks like he's got the best of the low.
Yeah, but he needs runner for the low to come out, because it has to be 5 cards, 8 or lower. So the low is dead now, so we're playing for the high only. So Dennis has the flush draw.
Yep, now he has the flush draw for the high end, and we fold, but we didn't actually get to see what won there. So, but hey, Poker Boss and Snarky Penguin, hello.
And goalie's completely correct. 3-4ing is the name of the game. When you get 3-4 more often than not, you're good. There's a close-up of Hollywood's little... I don't know what the new R2-D2 is called. I'm gonna get killed for that.
I'm unfortunately don't know enough about it either. Star Wars. Got another hand developing here. Got from the cutoff, call of 20. Let's see, our original raiser under the gun raised to 20 with ace 9-5-3 suited in diamonds, and then we've got Dennis with diamonds everywhere, ace king queen deuce. He calls, and Mike also on the button made the call. And our board comes out 3-6-7. We are going to have a low and a high right now.
So Dennis has the nut low, but if he doesn't have any other low cards than ace deuce, so he can get counterfeited if a deuce comes out. 4, 5.
And right now Mike has our high.
Has the straight. And so this is a point where Matt has ace-5, which is a pretty solid low hand, and he had a pair, but he was going to get scooped up by both ends, so he folds, which is the right play. And this is looking like it's going to be a chop unless a deuce or an ace comes out, or another diamond. So diamond, Dennis scoops, an ace or a deuce, Mike scoops.
So right now we're chopping it up.
See, I told you I was going to get killed. BB-8.
Yeah,
I knew that the whole time, guys.
Now, now the flush could complete. We did see quite a few diamonds, so I don't expect it to come out, and it doesn't. We are going to chop this one up.
Unless someone makes a hero play.
Right. Okay, so the button is going to go all in, and it's called. I'm going to chop it up. Good call.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to see most of the time in high-low is a lot of chop pots. You're trying to get it multi-ways, and then you want to take half the pot and have the rest of people quarter themselves.
Now all range of stacks, but most players have over 1K on the table. These games will get pretty deep as we continue on as well. So we're just getting started here. So do you play a lot of PLO 8?
So no, not a whole lot. I used to play a lot of PLO, and now I play a lot of the limit high-low.
Okay.
So I haven't actually, except for maybe a handful of times, actually played PLO 8. So that's what I'm most interested in, just to see how the two games merge together and how they play different.
Yeah, I think it's so much fun learning a new game. We have right now a lot of limping going on, which is fine at this point in the pre-flop game. Again, this game is played most post-flop.
Yeah.
For sure.
So 3 of the 5 hands.
Right now, Dennis has the best hand, and from the hands that we can see,
Dennis is going to have the low.
Yep. Cass already has the check mark next to the low, so he definitely has that with ace deuce 4 5.
And someone can get Dennis off the high. Well, there it went. I'm going to say, because he only had a pair of kings.
Yep.
Ace, king 6, 2 pair for Hollywood.
Yep.
But with the flush draw, so this is what I like about pot limit is once you have scary boards like this, you can bluff people off the best hand.
Right.
Because Hollywood has the best hand with 2 pair currently, which isn't a very strong game in Omaha high-low. Pocket Abe says seat 3 is representing the best place to play poker. Don't know where that is. Unless he's talking about ultimate bet.
Poker Pro Eric says, I think both PLO and PLO 8 are mostly played post-flop. Haven't seen many games where it gets potter and repotted pre-flop often.
Yeah, unless you have ace-ace, deuce-king, or ace-ace, deuce-3 double suited. And then even then, sometimes you don't want to give away the strength of your hand. So yeah, it's pretty, like everybody's saying, it's a post-flop game.
It is. It is definitely better to get it heads up if you can, and with a lot of your specific holdings, so that you don't end up quartering yourself with a lot of your low hands.
Ace, deuce, 3, 4, stuff like that. Another big thing I noticed about high-low versus just normal PLO, it's like PLO, I'll play almost any wrap, like 6, 7, 8, 9, stuff like that. High-low, you kind of stay away from like the 6, 7, 8 cards just because you get yourself in trouble.
You're rarely going to win the high and you're rarely going to win the low. It's like almost exactly, that's one of the major differences, like you were saying, between PLO and then playing the high-low, because those are great hands in PLO. You know, you can really want to be playing a lot of those. And here, you want to be playing a lot more of like your ace, deuce, 3, 4 double suited, and a lot more of your low hands that have it with double suiting. Suiting is so much more important as well. So we went 3-way to a flop here between Matt, Dennis, and Antonio. We've got Dennis checks. It goes check check on the board right now.
So no low hand.
Yeah, and Antonio has the best of it. Let's see. He has the straight. No, he does not. He's got kings.
Matt's gonna try and represent the 10 here.
Yeah, I've seen
and it
Matt.
Worked.
Yeah, I've seen Matt. Matt's an excellent, well-rounded player. I expect to see him taking advantage on flops where it looks advantageous to be able to do that, especially when you're not going with a lot of players to the flop, and he can rep some of those better hands and get other players to lay down post-flop. So, and that's what he did right there, and it worked for him.
Yeah. That's why I would love to play this game, because if you miss your low in a limit game, it's hard to get sneaked by a bluff. But in pot limit Omaha, it's a lot easier to rep different hands and get people to lay down weaker hands. Pocket Abes, we're playing 5-5 Omaha high-low.
Oh, the room is not empty. Right now, we've got
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables if you count the stream.
Yeah, 9 tables going for a Monday night. I mean, that's great.
With a wait list. I tried to jump in the little limit hold'em game before we came on, and it was full.
We've got Ryan under the gun, raised to 20, and we've got 3 callers behind. He raised with Ace, Queen, King, King, suited in clubs as well.
And this hand scoops fairly easy as long as there's no low. And right as I say that, there's a low.
For sure. And Mike has the nut flush draw as well.
As the nut low also.
The nut low, yeah. So.
And he even has a protector, so even if an ace or a deuce comes, he still has the 4 to back up his low.
Well, actually, Matt looks like he has the nut.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Matt.
Oh,
Yeah. So Matt has the ace deuce low, and even if an ace or a deuce comes, his 4 still plays, so it's very protected.
So yeah, so now we're gonna go to a turn, which hits Mike's 10. He still has the nut flush draw as well. And now, right now, Matt has the bottom end locked up. We know that's definitely going to happen, and the question is who's going to scoop the top end.
Looking for a 5 or an 8 for a scoop for Matt.
Right. And so Mike right now has about 80% to actually take the high end and this be a split pot. But Mike bets out 150. And let's see what Matt's going to do. With the nut low, I expect him to at least call here because he knows he's going to be at least getting the low end.
Yeah, I like the raise. Yeah. I like the raise.
Absolutely. It's a great place to raise because Mike doesn't have really anything made right now. He just has 10s and a flush draw. So,
the one problem with raising there, though, is you might be up against an opponent with ace deuce of spades, and he might just be free rolling the scoop. But there's the deuce of spades.
The deuce of spades does roll off, and it's going to be a chop it up situation. So in certain situations like that, you cannot play too scared in this game because you're going to be missing out on your hands if you're overfolding. Although there's a lot of times in this game where in other hands you would want to continue, where here you just want to fold if you don't have the nuts for sure.
So Dom has a great question. It's saying in PLO, do you use pot size bets to bluff, or do you mix pot size with less than pot size for your bluffs?
Pot size bets to bluff, or do you mix pot size?
I don't always pot when I'm bluffing. I like to do maybe 2/3 pot, half a pot. I like pot control a lot, even with my good hands. So when I bluff, I don't always pot.
And I think it really depends on the level of players that you're playing with as well, because it's going to be with certain players that realize how easily your hand can be turned into basically a bluff catcher, just like a weak hand. Who are going to lay down more often. You can play a certain way and bluff easier than those players who. A lot of players want to just continue. So this is where you really need to be analyzing who you're sitting at the table with and putting each one in a category and deciding from there what kind of bets and sizing you want to choose.
Absolutely. Another thing I noticed about playing even just PLO or PLO 8 versus the limit game is position is so much more important in the pot limit game than it is in the limit format.
Very true.
Yeah.
Let's see, here we've got another 5-way hand or 6-way hand right now. Right now it's just been limped around.
Did Ryan raise? Looked like Ryan raised.
Yeah, Ryan raised to 45 from the big blind, trying to get a few of these players out so he's not having to go 7-way to a flop right now. Got 2 callers so far. Well, Cass is a familiar face in the stream. stream as well as Mike. And we know Mike is an excellent player, so I'm really interested to see Mike's play here because I know he's such an excellent player, and I think there's a lot to be learned from him as well.
And Mike's got a solid hand that might be able to scoop. He's got 2 different flush draws. He's got 3 cards towards Broadway. Cass has the ace deuce 6, which plays for the low with the queen flush draw, which is no good because of the ace high. This is another game where if you have the second nuts, it can get you into trouble a lot of times.
Right now, Cass has the high end, and Stormtrooper has the low end. But we don't have a completed low yet right now. So as of right now, we're just playing for a high, unless we get 2 cards lower than 8 roll off.
Ryan with the all in.
Yeah, Cass has aces and deuces, pair of aces and deuces for 2 pair. He also could hit runner for a flush. And Ryan goes all in for 197 with his aces. He also can hit backdoor flush. But let's see, he only has 197 all in, so he has a short stack. Interested to see if Cass is going to call here with his 2 pair. It looks like he does lay it down.
And now Hollywood's got to decide if he thinks his 6 is good for the low, if a low comes, and if he's wanting to gamble for a low. So there's another part where
we just need 1 more card to complete the low. I think I said 2, but we really just need 1 because we've already got an ace deuce out.
It's another thing with the pot limit is that you can get the low draws off their hands, because basically Hollywood's got to pay $200 to try and split the pot unless he gets very lucky.
Right. I'm not actually sure what he's thinking about here so long. He doesn't have a super strong hand. We don't have a low yet, and all he's got is an ace right now for the high.
And then 3-6 for the low. Even if he does hit the low, he doesn't know if his low's good.
I think Hollywood was maybe
Hollywoodian, maybe just a little bit.
So does aggression neutralize in PLO, and position becomes more important in PLO? Position definitely, I think, is super important in this game, as well as hand selection. Hand selection becomes more important, like having suited cards, whereas in no limit hold'em, that may just add a % or 2 to you. In this game, it's going to be a lot more important where you're looking at people that are tied with their low hands or splitting with their low hands. Those suited cards can pay off when the flush comes. And
I also think aggression pays off more in the pot limit versus the limit games and even no limit games. I think some of the best PLO players are all fairly aggressive players.
Yes. Absolutely. Really applying that pressure post-flop. Again, we were talking about earlier what a post-flop game this is, and aggression and position is such an important part of that.
And one of the most important parts of this game too is being able to put your opponent on a range. If you think your opponent is weak, you don't actually necessarily have to have the hand. You can just bet it and take it down. But you have to be careful, because in pot limit he could just come right over the top of you, and so you got to be able to read your opponent's ranges and know what they do in certain situations.
It's such a great point that you bring up there, is really putting your players on a range of hands rather than just a set card. So once you've seen them turn over their hands and you're seeing what kind of hand selection they're making from certain positions, then you can really start to put those ranges together for each player, and recognize in what spots and which players you can use that aggression to go ahead and take the hand down versus other players who are playing tighter and most likely have already hit the nuts.
We got an ace deuce. Oh no, ace deuce threw his hand away. So in a limit game, I don't think you're ever throwing ace deuce away, but in pot limit, it's a dangerous hand to have if you don't have coordinating cards to go with it.
Right. So, bored, Gary, yes, actually Veronica was originally she was supposed to be in the booth with me tonight, but she did have something come up, another engagement that forced her to unfortunately not be here, but I'm really excited to be here with Mr. Andrew Walker, who actually plays a lot of mixed games as well, and so...
It's just nice to be in the booth. I get a little nervous in here, but it's been real nice being in here with you.
You know, I'm fairly new to the booth as well. I've only been in like maybe 5 or 6 sessions, and so I tend to get nervous too, but every time I'm getting a little bit more comfortable, so...
There you go.
The mixed games definitely make me a little less comfortable because it's definitely not my main game, but I like it, you know. Getting out of my comfort zone is really important to learning, and there's no better way to learn than to sit here and break down these hands and commentate on them.
My friend's saying Veronica's beating somebody up in the parking lot for bluffing.
Andrew Walker should come back, definitely. Yes.
Well, whenever they need me, I'm pretty much just a fill-in. I think this is my 2nd time being on stream.
Nice.
So.
Hey, Racing Guy, good to see you in the chat. Got some limpage going on again here.
Oh, there's the old trips in the hand, which is a great stud hand. Not so much for Omaha.
Going 4-way to a flop. Let's see. We do not have a low hand. This is going to be played all for the high end. We can't see Antonio's hand, but right now Mike has the best of it with just he's got a flush draw, and now flush draw. He also has his pair of 3s. Dennis still has his pair of 4s, which I believe
Matt's got a double gutter. There's Matt hit a straight.
Mike hits the high end
with the flush.
Yep.
And no low.
Little baby flush for Mike. It goes checked around because, you know, with the 3 high flush there, you never feel good. You know,
never.
You don't feel good, especially when you're 4-way in this pot. You're just not really expecting that to win, but Mike
takes it down.
Gets the whole thing. Scoops it up.
So someone asked, they want to know the breakdown in a 4-way hand. Would you rather have an ace 2 3 4 or an 8 9 10 jack suited?
I definitely ace deuce 3 4 in this game for sure. That second hand I wouldn't have even played.
No, so you would kind of want to stay away from the 6 7 8. So I like a 10 9 jack queen hand because you have 3 cards towards Broadway, but the 6 7 8 cards tend to get you in a lot of trouble. An ace 2 3 4 plays easier, so if you miss the low, you can kind of get out of the way. You're not going to get counterfeited by an ace or a 2 on the flop. So
yeah, that ace 2 3 4 is great because you can hit the high with your wheel, and you can also, or with the straight, and you can hit your low as well. So you can scoop there. Yeah, he was talking about the playing ace 9 10 jack. Yeah, on this game specifically, I would fold ace 9 10 jack pre-flop, no matter what. Like even if it's just a little bit, you're very unlikely to win the low or the high end.
Yeah. Versus just regular PLO, I'm raising with that hand. Yes, so he didn't limp in. So the small blind and the big blind are both the same. So when he had the trip 4s, he just checked his option. So he didn't have to put in any extra money.
So we went 5-way to a flop here. We're on a turn right now. It's been a bet 50 by Antonio, who has deuces. We don't have a low end. Mike calls 50 with his straight. He's got a straight.
And Antonio still doesn't have a low because his ace doesn't play. So Mike is gonna scoop.
Yeah, with the straight. Yep.
So Bulldozer, if you're trying to move down from below a 1-2 game, there's You could try the limit games here. We have limit hold'em from 3-6, 4-8, 6-12, depending on the day. And it's a great place to get your fundamentals back before you jump back into no limit if you want to go below a 1-2 game.
This is a 5-5. Well, those are 5-5 PLO 8.
Yes, Bulldozer, it's 5-5 PLO 8.
I put for fun. You're talking about the ace nine is the easiest hand to play multi-way. You know, if you're talking about PLO, I would agree with you. We love the hand PLO, but we're playing PLO 8. You know, it's a high-low game, and in that case, it's just becomes super weak. So that is the big difference, in my opinion.
Daniel asked a very good question. He said, "What are the pros and cons between a big stack versus a small stack in this game?" With the bigger stack, of course, you can see more flops, you can make more plays, you can bluff at different boards. If you have a short stack, you got to kind of tighten your range and just pick a hand to go all in with. So there's pros and cons to both, because if you have a table full of big stacks and you just got a little stack, you just wait till you get a premium hand like ace, deuce, king, double suited, or somewhere along that, and you just jam it and hope these guys are coming along trying to hit something else. But I prefer to play deeper. You can make more moves. If you have a good you have a short stack, your reads don't really matter so much as your cards do.
Right. Yeah, so right now we've got a hand here. We are going to have a low, and it gets folded around. Yeah, so Bulldozer was saying I'd fold Dominic's hand, wouldn't even call the big blind with that. He had queen, 3-3, and you know what? I actually didn't agree with you. A lot of times people get so caught up in these big pair hands, but it doesn't mean that much in a PLO 8 game with the high-low. It's it may look pretty if you're used to playing no limit hold'em or something like that, but it's just not going to hold up against these low flop boards.
Even uncoordinated aces that aren't suited aren't the best hands to play in this game. So a hand like two queens and 2 3s that don't coordinate other than you just set mining, because even a set in this game
it's not that strong.
It's not that strong.
Absolutely. And you really want, we talked about this earlier, in PLO 8 you want to be playing to scoop. You don't want to be playing to take half the pot or quartering, because in the end you're actually going to be losing money there. So you really want to be playing to scoop. That's why hand selection is so important and your post-flop play.
Yeah. Ford wants to know what mine and your favorite game is, and they only gave us the option to choose one.
Which is your favorite game?
Depends. If I'm trying to make money,
my favorite game is definitely what I'm best at, which is No Limit Hold'em. I've studied it and worked so hard at it for so many years, and so many people nowadays are saying that No Limit Hold'em's dead because the level of game has been raised so much. So we've got a hand here developing. We've got a high and a low. Matt's got the high end, and Cass has the low end. It's Cass's option.
And Cass has a very suspect low, so he might get blasted off of it.
Matt just bets 15. Dennis is going to call and get the bad news. Because he's got set of 10s.
Dennis called with the emergency low.
Yep, and so they're going to chop it up. Yeah, his low hand was the deuce 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, did he fold his low? Because I just saw his hand just disappear.
Who's that?
The low end. Was it Mike that hit the low? Because I thought we were chopping it up. I thought it said call, but
Cass had the low, but I think he folded. It wasn't a very strong low. It was 7, 6, 5, 4 deuce.
Yeah, and it was only 15 to call, and there was 3 other callers, so he just couldn't see himself winning there. And oftentimes he wouldn't, but in this instance, he would have. And with that much in the pot and those callers, maybe could have.
It's hard to call with the overcalls there. You just don't see 6, 5 being good.
Yeah, and it's never really be afraid to fold in PLO 8, because most of the time you are going to save your money. In marginal spots, it's not you don't need to call it off all the time.
Yeah.
In this game specifically. pick your spots where you feel like you're going to scoop.
Yep. Forward, back to your question. If I'm just playing a game for fun, I love deuce to 7, no limit. It's not my best game by any means, but it's just a fun game to play. If I'm playing seriously, probably either PLO or no limit. Hold'em.
Right, the bulldozer. That's a really great point, and a point as to why he folded there, because he really wasn't getting 5-1 on his money. You know, especially with that many players, he's unlikely has the best low hand. So
he's hoping to get half.
Not a bad fold at all.
Yeah, I make that fold too.
So now it goes check, check. Dennis bets out 50. He's got a straight. No, he doesn't. He does not. Not yet. But he does have a flush. He turns the flush.
Ryan's got the full house draw and the nut low draw.
Good. And he is going to shove all in. He's for 322. Dennis is 272 to call.
And so that's a great play.
With the 8 high flush, he probably doesn't feel great about it, but he's going to make the call.
Oh, wow. It's a great call. I think I probably get out of the way of that bet.
Let's see what happens here. He does not hit the boat, so it's going to be chop it up.
That was a great call by Dennis.
Yeah, and this is where stack size really does make is very important in this game, because if you have a small stack size and it's not that much for him to call, then you really can't apply the adequate amount of pressure to get him to fold in that position.
Yeah, if Ryan had maybe say something like 2K and he makes that bet, and you know another bullet's coming on the river and you're holding on with an ace high flush with a pair board, you're probably getting out of the way, but that's a great point about being the short stack there.
Very good point about our stack sizes and why it's important, if you're going to be playing these games, to be able to try to buy in or match for the largest stack if you possibly can, to be able to apply the adequate amount of pressure to actually win. See Azan, one of our local crushers, coming into the screen, talking to our other local crusher.
And I know they do have a list for this game, so if people start getting knocked out, we'll have other players come in and play. They won't let me play, though.
Yeah, Dennis plays well. Obviously, we know that when he doesn't bet fold the 8-6 on paired board. Really hoping, but against as played lines, he is ahead most of the time at 32% for a low.
That's a great point.
Yeah, No Limit Hold'em is still my favorite game right today, but if you ask me again in a couple of months, I might have a different answer, because I am starting to fall in love with these mixed games as I am putting in the work and studying them a little bit at a time. Hey there, Nick. How's it? Welcome to the chat. How's it going? And Mike, hello. He aspires to be a local crusher one day, but now I'm a local crushie.
I'm there with you.
We all started out as local crushies.
They still have my original picture from when I walked in here, as you guys saw when the stream started.
Says, I'm Hunt for Fun, says only 14 Omaha combos crush his exact hand.
Which could be another thing about being a short stack and a large stack. If you're a short stack, you feel more comfortable with that stack, and you're willing to lose it, and you can call in tough situations like that. Whereas if you're playing with too big of a bankroll on the table and you're not comfortable making a call with the 8 high flush, and you're folding more often than you should, would be another sign you should probably play with a shorter stack.
Good point. Good point talking about the short stack play. We're three-way in. We're on a turn. Right now it's double suited. The spades come off, but we have no one here actually completes the flush. We have Antonio has got both the low and the high. It's checked. Antonio bets out 10.
No, he just took the pot down.
Oh, he just took it back.
They checked it all the way down.
Checked the pot down.
So he had a live ace. So the ace deuce plays there. So it goes ace deuce and then the 3, 4, 5 on the board plays. That was another thing when I first started learning how to play high-low. Reading the low hand sometimes gets difficult because if there's 4 low cards out there, you don't always know which ones play. So you got to remember you play 2 in your hand and 3 on the board.
Right.
So the live ace play. So if somebody, even though he had ace deuce there, if somebody had ace 4, they would share the same low.
But yeah, it definitely is an adjustment moving from 2 cards to 4. But it's really great for the brain. I mean, to really up your level of play. It makes it more challenging, more exciting, and much less boring, in my opinion, for the no limit players. A lot of players, once they go to PLO, it's so hard to go back to no limit because it seems so much slower, more boring, only having the two cards.
That's the funny part. You put a restriction on how much money can go in a pot at a time, and it seems to bloat the pots more.
Yeah.
Because you get more people to the flop. Bulldozer makes a great point. He's saying I probably fold the 9-8-6-4 pre-flop, but in a PLO in late position he plays it. But it's hard to play in a high-low game because the 6-4 doesn't work really often and it's hard to hit the high.
Right. Mike and Antonio Cass were 3-way in. We've got the hijack versus under the gun +1, under the gun +2. It's gone check, option to Cass.
Mike's open-ended.
Cash has aces, backdoor flush possibility. We don't have a low yet, but we very likely could.
Mike is open-ended with a decent low. I don't think he's happy with the low, but he is open-ended with no flush draw really out there yet.
He calls the 50.
Yeah, I think that's a good call because he's open-ended. There's not the board is rainbow. It's not very scary. The low isn't there yet. There's his straight.
Yeah, so now he's about 80% to take the high, and Cass has almost got the low end locked up. It's 92% for the low.
So this is one of those hands where Cass is most likely free rolling, so he probably has the low and he has the draw to the nut high.
Right.
So I would put in a large bet.
So yeah, Mike checks. Cass should raise here. He does.
Yep, perfect.
Bets out 215. Now Mike has to decide, what he wants to do. He's gonna go ahead and raise. Mike's never afraid of some aggression here. It's called all in for 530. Mike calls. And let's see what our river holds.
And
all right,
split.
And we're gonna chop it up. Oh, they ran it twice. Oh, and on the second one, Cass completes, and he makes his hand and is able to scoop. So
he got quartered in a heads up.
Yes, he got quartered because he decided to run it twice here at Stones on the live stream. You can run it once, twice, or 3 times.
I only like running it an odd amount of times, so there's at least some blood.
A winner, yeah, exactly. Let's have a winner and a loser.
The people being priced in the call pre-flop leads to larger pots and getting priced in more often, so it leads to larger pots than no limit, even though you would assume no limit would have larger pots because there's no cap. But the fact that since there is a cap, it gives more people odds to draw, so you end up with bigger pots in a pot limit game than a no limit game. And this is the part of the game where it tests the dealer's dexterity to chop the pot into force.
Boulder says, good flop for Cass's hand. I would expect a $75 bet here. He also says, I like the bet, but I think he needed to charge more for Mike to draw to a better high. Make him pay, he says.
I really like that with the pot limit is you can charge for draws. And limit, you're just strapping your seatbelt on and hoping everybody doesn't get there on the river. Here you have a little more say. You can make the odds not correct for other people to draw at you. So it's a fun little difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Where with PLO, you really can use that to your advantage, applying the max pressure versus the limit game.
That's right, Bulldozer. That's why in a pot limit you have so many people going to the flop, because everybody has odds. That's why it's mostly a post-flop game, and you'll see a lot of players limping in and not really starting the hand until the flop.
But I do think it's super important, we've talked about this a few times already, to still be really super selective with your starting hand strength, because you can just get yourself in so much trouble if you do connect with that board in some way, but it's just not quite good enough because your starting hand selection was too weak.
Yeah, the last place you want to be is in a three-way pot with a decent high and a decent low, and not knowing if one or the other is good, and then having them chop your money up.
Right, or someone putting so much pressure on you that you
fold the winner.
Yeah. So we're going five-way here. Ryan hits his aces.
And the five. Oh, no, not the five.
But he does have a low right now as well.
7.
He's got the low locked right now.
He's the only one with the low draw.
Right. And he also has the best high at this time right now also. Antonio's got 10s, and now Matt has a set of 3s and he boats up. So now it's a split pot for Ryan taking the low and Matt taking the high. Let's see what they do as far as betting goes. Ryan checks, Matt checks behind.
So this is a good place for either player to bluff at it. I think both players are going to hold on, but yeah, split pot. Bulldozer makes a great point. Mike there had 10, 9, 8, 7 of clubs. So it looks pretty. It's a very pretty looking hand, but you have your own club outs.
Right.
The 10, 9, 8, 7 doesn't play particularly well in a high-low game because you can end up with the bottom end of the straight. Your 7, 8 is almost never going to be the low.
I could not agree more. I wouldn't have played that hand, unless you're like in the big blind or something like that. And it's limped around. Would not have played that hand. No, there are definitely some of these players who know that their skill set is so much better than others, but again, you got to be, and they believe they can apply maximum pressure on certain board textures and just get it to be folded around to them, but definitely not the best starting.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. If you see a bunch of people that are willing to fold going to the flop, you can come in with almost any hand, and if they are just kind of checking down, you can steal a lot of pots in a pot limit game.
Yeah. Great point.
While also making yourself look like a maniac, and then when you do hit, you get paid off.
Yeah, we've got 2 players here right now. Antonio under the gun, and from Dominic in the hijack. So far, it's limped around. Antonio is suited with the ace-queen. Dominic has a pair of 7s with suited spades, as well as an ace in his hand. And Stormtrooper's double suited here with jacks with an ace-3. Board comes 5, 6, 10 clubs. Antonio has the draw for the nut flush draw. And so he's got the best for the high right now. If the low comes out, Stormtrooper right now has the best option for the low end.
I'm actually surprised Hollywood didn't raise with that, because he has a draw at both the high and the low, and it's double suited.
The clubs do come off. So Antonio hits his nut flush. He's 90% to win the high end. And we do not have a low. So Antonio is going to take it down here.
Yeah, both Dennis and Hollywood had their lows counterfeited.
Antonio bets out 65. I don't actually see anyone calling here on this board. Nobody really had anything to call with. He takes down a small pot. Yeah, Bulldozer said he didn't, not sure he likes that hand from under the gun. Suppose is good enough to limp, but you have to fold to any re-raise. Yeah, I mean, everyone limped pre-flop in that situation as well. Like, you start limping too much from an early position. I mean, he was, under the gun. So, from earlier position, and then you're going to face a raise, and you're going to have to fold.
Now it's a completely different hand if it's like ace queen 9-5, because now you both have a draw for the Broadway and for the wheel, so it's a little easier to play. But the 6 is kind of hard to play with. It is an emergency low with a Broadway draw though. But you're absolutely right, I would fold that if it gets re-raised.
While we have a little lull, I want to remind you guys to hit subscribe and follow on YouTube and Twitch, so that you always get reminded when we go live, and you're never going to miss out on any of the action. Right now we are streaming on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and we also have our last Sunday of the month tournament going on Sundays, so you can actually catch live Northern California poker, some of the highest stakes, deepest games, best players around, nicest commentators. So definitely hit that button. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hey, and if you're anywhere in Northern California, come on down. We have an amazing room here at Stone's. I love it. It's beautiful. My favorite place to play. Great food. I just had some of the delicious food here right before the stream.
Yeah, I eat here almost every day. Even on my days off, I come in and eat.
I could literally just drive here and just eat anytime. It's fantastic, whether you're coming to play or not. Like, literally, the restaurant, wood fire pizza is the only way to eat pizza. And they have just delicious everything. There's really nothing bad here. It's like.
And Justin's also the best tournament director I know. So he puts on some of the craziest tournaments. Also, that, like she's saying, the last Sunday tournament is one of the best structured tournaments you're going to get for the money. So I love playing that.
We've got a 4-way pot here. Right now, it's gone check, check. Ryan's option from the cutoff, and he is going to bet out $50. Dennis calls 50. Mike?
I really like Dennis's hand. He's got to draw to a second nut flush or the nut straight.
Everybody calls. Yeah, Dennis.
Ryan has the ace
flush draw.
For
second nut flush draw as well. Right now, depending on we don't have a low yet. So right now, no low.
Mike, if Mike gets an ace, it'd be, I think, a scoop, as long as it's not a spade.
Yeah, Ryan moves all in, but he only has 105 behind, so I definitely expect Dennis to call for sure. Or raise. He calls. Mike calls. Yeah, with the straight draw.
Mike has one of those hands that are great because he's drawing at a scoop. So if he gets a non-ace of spades, he'll take both the low and the high.
So now Dennis has trip eights. He didn't complete his flush, but he did hit a third 8 to take down the high.
And no low.
And there was no low. People may be wondering, why was there no low? Because there's 8-8-4 on the board, but the 8s, because it's a paired 8s, it does not count. You cannot have paired to complete the low.
Although this game is more forgiving than Deuce to 7, because you can hit the wheel, hit a straight, and be live.
So now we've got 2 players over 2K stacks almost everyone else has over $1,000. So these stacks are starting to get deeper. That will continue.
Yeah, our low stack went from 170 to 630, so you should see a lot more action now. There's Gino right there, the worst chip runner in Northern Sacramento.
I love some Gino. I play basketball with a lot of the other players and dealers on Tuesdays, and Gino is.
Are you playing tomorrow?
I've played like the last 3 or 4 weeks. Tomorrow is a little bit up in the air. So
I'm actually going out there tomorrow.
Oh, really? It's like 50-50 tomorrow, whether or not I'll be able to make it or not.
Yeah. No, Gino's one of the best people out here. He actually just started dealing.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy too. I enjoy playing with him. Playing basketball.
The mods are letting everybody know that you did block Gino on his first shot last week.
Oh, was it Gino? I wasn't gonna call him out, you guys. I have a hard time getting shots off. I'm so short. Everyone's stepping me, so I get really aggressive on defense. Like a little too aggressive, maybe above the rules.
Throw a few knees, through a few elbows.
Throw some elbows, undercut on the layups. Just like maybe a little much.
Take the legs out when they go up.
You know, I'm a poker player and I tend to be aggressive, and that doesn't always stop when I leave the poker table. We've got a 3-way pot here. Mike, Antonio, and Dennis are in. We've got the button, the cut off the button, and then the small blind completed. Right now, it looks like well, it just switched. Mike now has the best for the high end with his queens.
With the best draw, also.
Yeah, really, yeah. Best draw for the straight as well. And then if we get a low, right now Antonio has the best low draw.
I always think it's interesting when a 2 or an ace hits the flop.
Do get the low. Does get there.
No, the low doesn't.
No, didn't. Oh, it
paired
paired.
up.
I didn't. Yeah, the low does not get there. So Mike will scoop.
I think it's always interesting when an ace or deuce hits the flop, it changes everybody because you're expecting someone to have ace deuce in the hand. So when a deuce or an ace, you don't necessarily need the nut low. Like your ace 4 plays a little better in hands like that. So it's a little harder to read the low at that point.
Yeah, so it gets checked around, and Mike just takes it down. He checks as well because really he just has a pair of queens, and he takes it. And you don't really feel good with just your, queens and 5s there, an ace kicker, you're not feeling like it's the best hand.
Yeah, when you only hit one of your cards, it's usually not a good sign, but there it was. Where pot control comes into, you can make calls if you keep control of the pot size.
You YouTubers have been kind of silent over there. Are you still around?
If we were together,
Now Hollywood has a great hand right here. He has both 3 cards towards Broadway. He has ace deuce low. His flush draw isn't very relevant, but it might come into play. And we lost the hands, I think.
Yeah. Board comes 10, queen, 7, 2 diamonds. We're gonna take some guesses at these hands. It's always fun. I like it when we're a little bit in the dark and we can kind of just check it out and see what's happening. So far we go check. Stormtrooper, who we do know what he has, he bets out 10. He's got queens here. He can hit the back door spade draw as well. Now he hits a straight as well, and we're still questioning what Ryan has here. He could possibly have the flush.
He could also have floated. I think he would have bet if he was floating with and expecting to hit a diamond and then bluffing at the diamond, so he probably does have the flush.
Or chipper checks.
I see a Jack 9, and he's going to show Ace Jack, and I think it's a straight over straight.
Ryan bet out 35. Called. Did we split? I didn't actually get a split.
I think it was. I think
nope.
it was King High Straight versus Ace High Straight.
Oh, okay, got it. So
and that's another point. So that's another hand we were talking about earlier, the Jack 9 8 7, where in PLO it's a great hand. In high low you can get in trouble like hands like that.
It's important to adjust your hand selection for the game that you're playing. You get used to playing PLO and loving those sorts of hands, and you switch to PLO 8 and you're trying to continue to play with those sorts of hands. You're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. So you really definitely need to be adjusting your hand selection.
To be fair though, the pot was really small,
right.
And it's not a bad call there.
It was limped.
Yeah, it's fairly and only 2 people in the hand.
Yeah.
If that's like a 4 or 5 way pot, then you probably have to lay down that hand. But heads up, it's a fairly easy call. Chat seems to be quiet on both sides.
Yeah, Bulldozer's just saying that was about the best hand Dennis can hope for, and Antonio's much better shape. It's probably a good limp hand, is what he was saying, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah, because you can call the re-raise. Yep. Mike hits a king. Mike bets the king. You see a whole lot out there. I'm gonna assume
Mike has 2 pair, kings and 5s.
We can't see Dominic's
hit backdoor flush. He's got pair of 4s. He folds. I think Mike may just take it down here. Dominic has aces.
Ace, king, 8.
King, yeah. So he's sticking around.
Like we were saying earlier, aces aren't all that great in this game because king 5 can just beat you. And there he goes. He boats up with the king 5.
And there is no low.
I think if Mike bets
Dominic
here,
checks, Mike should put out a bet.
and I think Dominic's actually going to call.
Yeah. So I think he was probably planning on check calling. Mike bets out 75, and he's considering it. He may just fold it. Let's see. No, he says, I think I might be good. Against Mike, he could be just trying to do aggression because of me showing some weakness. And so I'm going to give it a call, and he does, and Mike's going to add a little bit of money to his
he
stack.
probably felt good about the 5 hitting because a hand like king 9 is counterfeited versus his aces. But 5 was hidden.
Chip counts, we got Ryan with 150. Everyone else has got at least over 500. Cass at 620, and everyone above Cass and Ryan has over $1,000 in their stack right now. The best way to learn these games, guys, watch the stream, but come down and check them out and play it. We have low limit games running all the time. We have a tutorial table where you can come and learn these games as well. Everyone's super friendly to ask questions and learn from. So watch our archives of shows. We've got over 200 archived shows where you can really learn and study the players at some of these lower limits. It's a great way to add to your knowledge base of poker, as well as coming down and actually playing some of these games here at Stone's. So really the best place to learn. I've never been in a room nicer or better or friendlier to learn poker.
Yeah, I actually learned how to play the high-low variant last year. I came in and Clay gave me a lot of pointers, and I sat down and played the 4-8 limit Omaha high-low, and Clay's like, hey, you're doing this wrong, or you could do this in this situation. And most of the players here are really receptive to questions. If you ask them questions, they're going to give you honest answers, and it's a great place to learn. And like I said, most players are very, very friendly here. They're just here to have fun and help out.
I have so much fun. Literally the best career you can have when you can come to a room, eat great food, be surrounded by super nice, awesome people, friendly, especially moving from the South and coming here and not knowing what to
part
expect.
of the South?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, I was in Georgia for 6 years. I just moved back last year.
We're 4-way to a flop here. Board comes out 9-5 jack, 2 hearts. We've got Mike who has the heart, so he's the only one with the flush draw at this point. Dennis hits top pair. He also has a straight draw as well. And let's see what else we got working here.
Dom was asking if Dominic should have raised pre-flop. I would, just because your 7 isn't coordinated with anything. You really want all 4 cards coordinated, working together if you want to raise.
Dennis bet out 105 and Mike calls. He hits his flush there. And he also has a draw to the straight flush.
Dennis hit his 3rd jack.
There is no low. So, yeah, he hits his 3rd jack, so he could still boat up here and win. But Mike is best right now with his flush.
Actually, Mike's got the open and a straight flush draw.
Yeah.
And there's the boat right there.
Yep. Now, Mike no longer...
oh, never mind. No, because you got to play 2 cards in your hand. Another
So
difference
Mike's
between hold'em.
Still best, yeah. So Dennis checks, and Mike checks behind and adds 315 to the stack.
Yeah, so that's another big thing you gotta realize when you're playing Omaha is you gotta play 2 in your hand and 3 on the board. So even though it looks like he boated up, he had to hit a 10-8 or an ace to boat up.
And that's why this game is so super interesting, because there's always so much to think about, you know. It's very easy, especially watching all the hands when you go 7 ways to the flop, just trying to see what everyone has and break it down and see who's best can be complicated. And see, there's a lot to think about. It's a fun game, and it really gets your wheels spinning. And when you play this game and then you go back to No Limit Hold'em, No Limit Hold'em actually seems a lot easier, because
it almost seems slow and boring at points.
A lot of people just become so bored with No Limit Hold'em after playing these games.
Like you're saying with the Omaha, you got to think, what's the nuts right now? What's the nut draws? What are people drawing to? What do people might have?
Right.
Should I bet now? Do I have the best hand now? Am I drawing to the best hand?
A lot to think about.
What are good bluff cards?
It says, what was Ryan thinking with Ryan raising pre with King 9-7-3?
He was thinking he can outplay him post flop.
Hi, Ghost of M. Good to see you in the chat. Glad you're talking to us. D-Dom, you're right. We call it both. Oklahoma can be considered the South of the Midwest. I just like to call it the Heartland.
Hollywood folded the 8, 9, 10 jack.
What's that? Oh, he folded the 8, 9, 10 jack?
Yeah.
I like that fold.
I like Dominic's hand, the ace, 2, 3, king.
Yep. He does have 3 hearts in his hand. So
and he did raise with it too.
Yeah.
Ryan goes all in with the short stack, ace, 4, jack, 7. So once again, the 7 isn't really coordinated too much. So I don't know.
Right now, Dennis has the best high, or with a pair of 8s. Is that right? No, he's got the queens. He's got a pair of queens.
Yeah, Dominic
right
has
now,
the nut draw.
Nut draw. Yep. And also Dennis has the straight draw as well with the 6, 7, 8, 9. So he can also hit backdoor spades. So Dennis has a lot of options there. And Ryan's all in. He's got a pair of 7s.
With an ace, 4 low draw, which isn't going to get there unless it runs out 2, 3.
Or 5.
Well, even a 5, Dominic's got deuce, 3, ace.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Step that, Ghost.
Oh, wow.
Justin, fly out. Why haven't you booked a flight yet?
Did you
Justin says he wants to fly.
It ran out queen 9 for Dennis to hit runner for a boat.
Oh my. Oh wow. And Dominic had gone all in.
Yeah.
What was he going all in with there?
He had the nut draw.
Oh, the nut draw, yeah. Just with just the draw, he went ahead and pushed all in.
Which is okay if you have such a big draw. I don't mind jamming there. It just didn't run out for him. So that's gonna be a $3,200 pot getting scooped.
Wow. That is nice, and Dennis is super thrilled. And so, did it get all in? I was on the.
I'm not sure if it got all in on the turn or the flop. I'm wanting to say it's on the flop.
If it got all in on the flop, what a run out for Dennis.
Yeah.
Why play
all in on the flop? Yeah.
3 cards. The hand limits heart flush potential. Is what D-Dom says.
Just because you have draws to both sides. So you have the Broadway draws, you have the wheel draw with protection. So with the ace deuce 3, even if the ace or deuce hits the flop, your 3 is still live. Yeah, you take one of your hard outs, but you still have both the low and the high draws. So I really like the hand. I really like his push on the flop all in with having the nut draw. It just was an unfortunate run out.
Yeah, I think for not a big raise there for limp pot, I mean, definitely can see a flop with that hand. It's got some great potential. I got a couple people in the Twitch chat. Shadow Maniac 78 says, I like Kasey's outfit. It's very lovely. Don't worry, Andrew. I like yours too. Yes. I brought out the flowery dress for Valentine's Day this week. Wednesday's Valentine's Day. You guys take your ladies out, treat them nice, buy them flowers, jewelry's even better, perfume, whatever it is.
Stay out of the doghouse.
How often does Stone spread PLO 8? You know, we have the game running here quite often, but on the stream it's not that often. However, it will be a lot more often now because we have added our high limit games on Fridays, and so our mixed games are going to be playing on Mondays, so we'll be seeing a lot more of it, which I'm super excited about, just to be able to learn and study these other games. I think we need more of that in poker.
And Bulldozer's making a great point. He had about a 75% chance to at least win half the pot when he jammed all in there, plus the fold equity, plus everything else. It was just a very unlucky hand.
Unfortunate run out for him, and a great run out for, was it Daniel?
Dennis, I believe Dennis ran out, yep.
Yeah, so we are 5-way in the pot right now, and it's gone check, call. It's just limped at this point, but I see a raise coming in.
From Hollywood, I almost guarantee you it's an ace deuce type of hand for Hollywood to raise it. Oh, and if it is ace deuce, he's got quads, so he probably has like an ace deuce 3 king type of hand, I'm gonna guess. There's the bet.
Yeah, go.
I'm pretty sure Hollywood has at least an ace here.
Yeah, he was our original pre-flop raiser, so I'm not sure. We don't know what Cass has either. Cass has got to be pretty strong because Cass is smart enough to know for Stormtrooper to be raising there. He likely has that in his hand, so I would expect Cass may have the flush already here, or straight.
So 10-10 Jack 9. I look a lot dumber when I can't see their hands.
So he already has a boat. Stormtrooper is boated at this point. And let's see what Cass has.
If he shows.
He goes check. See if we're going to get to, I can't see.
He probably had either Broadway or the flush. I want to lean towards, I think he probably had a flush.
Justin James, he says he's got a baby on the way, so he can't fly out. Well, once that baby comes out, after a little, get through like that first year, you got to help that mama out because the baby's going to be crying a lot, probably. At least mine was. But come out to Stones. Have you ever been here before, Justin? If you haven't, you've got to come. You got to make a trip out. It's totally worth it. It'll be super fun. And Ghost of M's talking about the Win the Button that's going to be playing on Monday,
That is an amazing event. I played the last Win the Button event. That is the most fun you'll have in a tournament.
I am so excited because I'm going to be in the booth that night with the one, the only, Mr. Jonathan Little.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, he's going to be commentating on that, and I'm going to be in there with him. So
well, hopefully I'm at the final table when you guys are doing that.
That would be awesome. I would love that. So yes, very exciting. It's going to be a great one. You guys definitely don't want to miss February 19th. Next week is Jonathan Little week, so we've got action going on every stream night. Wednesday is going to be Veronica and Friends. Jonathan Little will actually be playing, so you're going to get to see Jonathan Little playing along with some other beautiful women. Veronica, of course, she's going to be playing, and some other lovely ladies. I'll be playing, as well as a lot of action players. It's going to be a super actiony 1-3 Veronica and Friends. I'm sure the wine will also be flowing, as it always is on Veronica and Friends on Wednesday, so that's going to be a great one. We also have a sit and go coming up, and Chris Moneymaker has actually registered to play in our sit and go, and I am going to be commentating on that sit and go as well. I think with Brent, it's going to be
the 1100.
Yes.
Yes, the 1100 buy-in.
I'm so excited. I am not worthy to commentate on you, Chris Moneymaker, but I will do my best.
That's gonna be fun. They actually the last two $1,100 sit and goes. They last about 7 hours, and there's a lot of game to be played, and they pay top 3. It's a good game.
Mike here has a set of 9s, and he bets out 20 casts with his aces. Well, actually, he's got a set of 5s. He also calls. Mike checks casts with the option on the river. He's got Cass actually has the whole world here. He has the top and the bottom, and he is going to take it down.
Yeah. Dom asked, "How does the win the button work?" And so basically, in the win
straight. That's why. Okay.
The win the button tourney, if you win the hand, you get the button. So if you're against if you're to the left of the most aggressive player on the table, you're gonna play a lot of blinds that day.
Master C in the house. What's up? It was so fun last night. I actually still owe Master C $5. He won a bet off me, but we're gonna start doing some prop bets on the side. We're gonna do some sort of double or nothing because I want a shot at getting my money back.
I just lost a bunch of prop bets before we jumped on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were commentating last night. We were just dying that we couldn't actually get in the action and play, so we had to find something to bet on. So we were betting on who was going to win, and he got it.
Oh, speaking of your $1,100 sit and go, Hollywood didn't he finish second last sit and go?
He did.
Yep.
And he played incredibly tight. There was a lot of questionable.
There was
He folded jacks at one point.
I'm pretty sure Hollywood knows the future.
Yeah, but you know what? If we're being results oriented, making all those folds, he ended up second on several of those hands where everyone was like, "You've got to call there, or you've got to shove there." If he actually would have not gotten second. So
yeah,
you know,
I'm just convinced he knows what cards are coming out.
he may be psychic. Let's see. Master C says he makes the best bets. This time, it's yet to be determined in the future. We're 5-way into a flop here, and we've got a 3-10 jack rainbow board with Ryan having the best of it at this current juncture. He has kings and 10s. So let's hear this. Yep.
Rainbow board, no low.
Now we've got Stormtrooper with the best hand because he's got the nut straight, and no low.
So Ryan's gonna come along and try and hit a boat.
He also could chop for the straight.
Yeah.
If a queen,
yeah. Yep.
If a queen came out.
And was Hollywood the one that led out? Hollywood led out. So you probably put him on ace queen, maybe. And this is my least favorite hand in Omaha is when I get 3 pairs.
Yep, so Stormtrooper has the best of it, and so he's going to bet out. Well, we don't know what Antonio has right now, but Stormtrooper bets 100.
I'll be interested to see what Ryan does. Oh, he got away from it. Good.
Yep, they both fold and Stormtrooper takes it down.
I think the 9 helps to get away from it because hands like, you know,
So many
8
hands drop
queen,
there.
yeah, a lot more hands get there. Like, just to put them on ace queen is kind of hard. It's doable though, since Hollywood did lead out and he's a little tighter than most.
So D-Dom wants to know, why doesn't Cass raise pre-flop with the ace, and suited ace? Did you already talk about that earlier?
What was that?
Why didn't Cass raise pre-flop with ace, and one of them, and it was a suited ace?
So
a suited ace.
Aces in Hold'em, you're 80% going heads up against anybody. Aces in Omaha, just Omaha PLO, is only about 60% heads up. So if the rest of your hand isn't coordinated, you probably just want to limp in because pocket aces aren't that great on their own in this game. But if you have like ace, deuce, 3, ace, deuce, king, double suited, even just being single suited isn't that great. So I like the limp, and you can call a raise. The worst place to be there is if you raise, somebody re-raises you, and you have to lay down with your aces. Or play a bigger pot than you need to with aces.
Yeah, Justin James says ace-5, no backup. It's not a great low hand. Ace-ace adds value, but not that much. The hand was a great example. He hit a set of 5s, and it was useless.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Great point. And also, we want to mention to you guys can get in this game, in these games. It's not like we only allow certain people into our live stream. If you want to sit down and play on the live stream, it's great to analyze and do that. All you need to do is text or call 702-465-9450 or email, and you can get in on the live streams. We have No Limit Hold'em 5-5 on Wednesdays, the big games on Fridays, mixed games on Mondays, and of course you can always play on our last Sunday of the month tournament, or we have other fun tournaments going on, like we just had the over-unders where we pitted the over 50s versus the under 50s. That was really fun. They got to win. We gave away 2 cruises, a beautiful trophy,
and 12,000.
a lot of money.
13,000, yeah,
right.
for first.
So we've got another hand here. It got split up between Antonio and Dennis because we did have a low run out.
And so that was an example of ace 2, 3, 4, and he had a live 5, so the will played. But yeah, another great thing about being on stream is it's a great way to have video evidence of how you're playing. You can examine your own game. Especially when they have like the 1-3 games here, you just come out, sign up, you have video evidence of, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that in the future, or maybe that's a spot I could pick the bluff in the future. And it's you can't lie to yourself when you're on camera.
I could not agree more. A lot of people, whenever I had talked, when I first moved out here and I said I wanted to play on the stream, they said, hey, I don't know if that's a great idea as a professional poker player. A lot of other pros study the stream. And I said, no, to me, it's about getting better. And, I'm not here necessarily trying to win the other pros' money. Sometimes I am when I'm playing the higher limits, but I'm here, I want to be the best that I can be and study. I like to go back and study and analyze my hands. Also, getting to listen in on what the commentators have to say about the hands that I'm playing and how I'm breaking them down. It just allows me a whole new way of thinking about what I did, where I did it, and it's super important to be able to do that, get outside yourself and actually see it.
Because I just love, so like you have video proof of what you did in a certain spot, and you might think of it one way, but it's great to take the video and show somebody else. It's like, hey, how would you play this hand? What are your views on how I played this? It's just it's a great learning tool.
All right, another hand developing here in our PLO 8 game, 5-5, PLO 8. We have a raise to 25 with ace, queen, jack, 4 suited in diamonds, queen, 4 suited in diamonds, and we have 3 callers. Our board comes out 7, 9, 6, 2 hearts.
Dominic with the flush.
Yeah, Dominic already has hit the queen high flush, but let's see it here.
Ryan's got ace 4 low. Antonio with ace 5 low.
Yeah,
7's full of 9 now with Antonio.
Right, yeah. Antonio has hit a boat now, and so Dominic's flush is no good, but he could still boat up if a queen came out.
Yeah.
And it looks like we are not going to have a low, and Antonio is going, it's going to go check, and Antonio's going to take it down with his boats. 7s, 9s.
Dantelope says, I like small ball playing this game until I have it. That is not a bad strategy. Pot control, limp in, see a lot of flops, and then the only problem with that is when you do start betting it, if the table's not betting your hand for you, you kind of get in a situation kind of like Hollywood gets in sometimes where the people know he has a really strong hand when he bets. And it's hard to make a lot of money, but small ball is not a bad strategy for PLO 8.
Absolutely. Do you allow lambs? If so, I will sew up.
They let donkeys in there. I got to play, so.
If they allow donkeys in, they allow lambs in. And we also sometimes have service animals, so if you have an actual lamb, like Mary,
they had a chameleon
on it.
at the desk yesterday.
Did they really?
Yeah, I was sitting there playing the limit game, and everybody started freaking out. I ran over there, and one of the chip runners actually thought it was the lady's hairpiece, and it was a chameleon, and it moved, and he freaked out. He freaked out. It was great.
Like I was such a tomboy as a girl. Like I was always chasing boys around with snakes. My dad's a game warden, so I was raised around all kinds of creatures, and I'm a lover of all animals, including our reptilian friends. So I would have loved to see the chameleon.
Oh, it was awesome.
Good, D-Dom, come on down. We'd love to have you come introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you.
Absolutely.
All right, we got Kasey with Ace 10 7 4 double suited, and Matt with $5 to call. He's going to fold that hand, which I agree with. And let's see, we're 4-way in.
Ace 4-4. Wow, just flop, the boat.
Yeah, no big deal.
Just flop it.
Just flop it like that. Flop it like it's hot.
Easy game.
You could also hit backdoor flush on both boards, but who needs it when you've already got a boat?
Dominic with a 3-6 low. Or drawing at a 3-6 low.
Right, yeah, if we get a low.
Hollywood drawing at a 6-7 low. Dennis is a ninja. No idea what he's got. But he does make the call. Cash improved his hand somehow. I'm not sure how.
The boat got a little bit better, as if he needed it.
Although that may give Dennis out, so Dennis has like an ace, king, queen type of hand or something like that, that actually may give Dennis out to a bigger boat.
To a bigger boat?
Which would be sick. He hit the case ace and then hit another runner.
Cass bets 35. Dennis checks his cards and makes the call.
So I definitely think he probably has an ace here.
And if he has ace king here, then he just got there. So Dennis checks Cass's option. He's not afraid of the king on the river, and he's going to go ahead and bet it out. And it looks like he put a bet about $80 in. He did, and Dennis.
The raise. Or just a call.
If it's just a
call, it's probably not ace king.
Probably not best here.
Probably ace jack, ace queen, or pocket king.
He shows. I see a 4 and a king.
Oh wow, that's
so he
unfortunate.
He had a boat as well. Yeah, 4's full of kings. Yeah, that river.
The river in this game is sick. We were playing earlier, and we capped it, and I had the nuts on the flop, and then comes to the turn, and we cap it, I have the nuts on the turn, and then when the river hits, I'm in 4th place.
That's the PLO for you.
Antelope 6. Classic cooler there. Yeah, boat over boat happens more than it should in this game.
Yeah.
And that's probably also why you saw him only bet 2/3 pot there, even with the ace-4, because there are still hands that could beat him. Ace-king could definitely have gotten there. Different hands like that.
Hey there, Dana. Dana says, Andrew, this game is made on the cooler.
He's not lying. It is a drawing game.
Dennis has got king, king, queen, 7 suited in clubs, and Antonio, double suited, also has the clubs with the worst of it. And let's see.
7, 7, 9, 9 went away.
Mike has 3 clubs, king, queen, 4, 5. They're all calling. A lot of limpage going on here. Matt with his ace, queen suited with the 3, 4 is going to raise to 30.
I like it.
Stormtrooper 25 to call. He calls with his ace 10 6 deuce. Lots of clubs everywhere. Everyone's got clubs,
Yeah.
so we don't actually expect the flush to actually come here because they're pretty much all out almost. I already have 9 clubs out that we can see, and we can't even see Dominic's hand yet. So we have 3 callers so far, or 4 callers, 4 people to the board, 3 calls from Matt's original raise from the cutoff.
So Matt with the 5-4-3 low. Hollywood with this.
Stormtrooper has the best hand right now with aces and 10s. Now Mike can hit a jack for a straight.
Matt's drawing at the wheel with a pair of aces.
Yeah.
Backdoor flush.
We don't have a low yet, but so 2 cards to come. We don't know what Dominic has yet. All these players have pretty healthy chip stacks. 2K for Matt and Dominic, and 1.4K for both Stormtrooper and Mike. So definitely it's all deep stacked here.
Dominic with the bet from the button. Or no, Matt raised, Dominic called. Yeah.
Stormtrooper, I definitely see Stormtrooper calling.
Oh, got it. So Hollywood's really tight. Hollywood plays.
What's he folding? He's got top 2. I'm trying to understand why he's folding there.
He knows what cards are coming. Hollywood he just knows. I don't question Hollywood anymore.
I question that fold.
He plays a different game than we do.
Now, I guess so, because Dominic does
Hits
hit
the flush. I'm telling you, he is. He's a magician.
Yeah, and well, you know.
I wouldn't fold there,
Right.
but Hollywood is a whole different
He
beast.
does know that there's a lot of cards that he's drawing dead to on the turn in the river, so you know he.
And the pot is
correct.
big. He just might not want to play a pot this size.
You know, that's such a great point too, because you know you're not necessarily wanting to pick marginal spots with large pots where you're likely going to have unfortunate runouts, whereas you can pick some better spots with less players.
Yep.
And where you are owning the board, or have the nuts, or drawing to the nuts.
Absolutely.
So things are not always what they seem. We're talking about the cookies in the chat here. Let's see.
Oh my goodness, the peanut butter cookies are life.
Let's see what the river holds here. If we get a low, then we're gonna split it up. Oh, Matt folds and Dominic takes it down with his flush. But yeah, we're talking about the cookies. You know, something Stones do. They treat their patrons here amazing. I mean, I really can't say enough. They literally just randomly come out with warm, fresh cookies and just give them to you. You don't pay for their cookies.
And let me tell you, the peanut butter cookies.
I mean, you may pay for it here. You know, pay for it on the abs, but you don't actually pay for it, okay? And they are good. I always try to avoid.
I don't. I run straight for them.
Well, when you look like you've got your metabolism can handle a few cookies. I'm trying to stay away from the cookies, except I've had plenty of cookies during Christmas time. Made lots of Christmas cookies.
There y'all go.
Now I'm off the sugar. That's what my little boy always says. Mama, you're off the sugar. I am off the sugar, and he'll say, Mama, I'm off the fries.
Mike called. Oh, we lost. There it is. Mike called under the gun with Jack 9-8 deuce. So this is a point where I don't like the hand, but Mike is a really good post-flop player, and he's willing to. You show strength playing under the gun, and I think he might be just playing to make a move if he doesn't hit anything.
Yeah, he may have a plan to win this spot later, depending on the way the board comes out. And we do know Mike is an excellent player, and he believes, like you were saying, that he can beat a lot of these players post-flop, and this game is played majority post-flop, and so he can. And this looks like a fairly decent board for him to continue whatever story he was wanting to tell. Now
checked around.
Yeah, because Matt right now for the let's see. Now Mike has the best of it from what we can tell. We don't know what Dennis has.
I know
just a second here, and the graphics are going to catch up.
It looks like it folded around to Dennis.
Well, thank you, Dana. I appreciate that.
Dennis might be on the flush draw. He might have got there. King 9-4.
Hey, Jimmy. Good to see you, Jimmy Bluffett.
They're saying that the graphics messed up on this hand, but they're going to work for the next one.
Okay. Very cool.
Mods out here killing people for caps lock.
One of the amazing things about our team here is when the technology messes up, they are so quick to get it fixed. So, like they were just saying, we had the graphics mess up for one hand, and we're going to be right back up for the very next hand. So
I was actually
really
here.
Impressive.
I was here yesterday. They had a ladder, and they were going up the camera, making sure the color contrast was correct and the cameras were angled perfect. It's a hard-working team. Yeah.
Somebody was asking me about, since I'm commentating, someone was wanting to start a YouTube channel and was asking me, like, you know, what they need to do. I said, I have no idea. Production, like, takes care of everything. All I have to do is show up and look pretty and talk, and, like, everything else is just on point.
Yeah,
so,
they got 3 hardworking people behind us right now making sure this thing goes smoothly.
Yeah, very impressive.
It happens. It happens, Antelope.
Hold on, I'll get my order to everybody.
Stone's Live is saying, telling Dana to take it easy on the caps, homie, because he was having it all hot caps. Dana says, my bad.
Yeah, they got the Nazi bot that will come around and ban you randomly, so you live this time. Six, 8, 9, 10 suited. I don't like that hand.
No, yeah, and he folded correctly. Even for a $5, there's no reason to play.
It's just gonna get you in a lot of trouble.
You're just gonna be bleeding out chips if you keep playing those sorts of hands, which Antonio is doing right now. He calls from under the gun. He is in a little bit later position, but I still don't like that hand selection. Now it gets raised, so he's gonna have to fold. Who made this raise to 35? Ryan made the raise to 35 with Ace King 4-3 suited in spades.
That's a great hand because you're drawing at both the wheel and that Broadway, and you have a flush draw. It just everything coordinates really well together.
I expect Matt to call here. He's double suited with the Ace Jack 7-3. He's got low and high cards.
Hollywood might come by. Yep, there goes Hollywood.
Yep. Stormtrooper's in there as well.
He's
got
also
high and low cards. And Dominic also double suited, and he has got the nut spade draw now.
The Nazi bot is yelling at me, saying we are not Nazi bots, we are friendly.
Who's the Nazi bot?
Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, okay. We are not Nazi bots. We are friendly. Oh, cute. I like that. I like the graphics there. Let's see what we've got here, because Matt has jacks and sevens, 2 pair.
Ryan's got the spade draw. Dominic's got a better spade draw.
Let's see, yeah. Dennis with a pair of 8s and a backdoor flush draw. And
Dennis with the 2-3 low.
If we have a spade, if Ryan and Dominic stick around, we have a spade come off, we're going to be having this nut spades versus the second nut spades.
I want Hollywood with the ace deuce. It'd be fun to see a low spade card and just watch fireworks happen. There is a poker god. There will be a low spade incoming. 5 of
5
clubs.
rolls off, so we do have a low now.
Now I expect Hollywood to either raise or
He also has a nut flush draw now as well.
So he's free rolling. He's got nut low and he's got the draw to the nut high. As long as he doesn't get counterfeited on the end.
Yeah, as of right now, he has definitely a big percentage chance to win the low at the very least, so he is going to put in a raise. It looks like he goes all in.
Wow.
This pot just got real big, real fast. All in for 1.1K. Ryan's all in for 100. Now it's back to Dominic, who has the nut flush draw. We don't have any boat possibilities out there, so it makes him more interested in wanting to call, I'm sure.
I actually don't mind the bet by Hollywood because it's expensive to draw at the spades now. The straight draw, you have a chance, if somebody has a straight right now, you have a chance to scoop on them, if not split it with them. You also have an ability to scare off, even if you had them made straight right now, there's 2 different nut flush draws out there. There's a lot of scary cards to come. So even if you did have the nuts here, this is one of the hands where it might be scary to call.
Now Matt, who actually has the best high hand right now with 2 pair, has to be like,
hating his life.
Yeah, hating his life. He's got the best hand currently, but this is where we were talking about is how often you can throw away the best hand just because it's a marginal spot, knowing that so many river cards or turn cards are gonna just
9-10 is there, any set.
Yeah.
If you can deduce that everybody's on a flush draw, then
yeah, but who knows?
It's still scary.
Yeah, it's very difficult to know that when you're in a 4-way pot. Stormtrooper has the flush draw as well to go along with his low hand, so he definitely good place to put in that bet there.
No, if the deuce comes, he can't get counterfeited. He'll still have a low even with ace deuce, but if a deuce comes, the 3 plays for Matt and for Ryan. So Hollywood doesn't want to see a deuce on the river. And that's where you see the best hand fold.
Yep.
And that happens quite often.
I'm excited for this river.
I am too.
What's gonna happen?
2 of spades.
You're calling out the 2 of spades.
2 of spades.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one because Ryan will have the king high flush, Dominic will have the ace high flush. And Ryan will have the Stormtrooper will have the low.
Deuce of spades, Ryan will actually have the low.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
The 3 is live. Justin saying Hollywood's not as bad as I thought he was. Great shove with the nut low redraws into 4-way. Like I said, Hollywood's a very solid player and he's a good player, but he's just a magician. He just knows what cards are coming out, so I'm just assuming a safe card's going to hit a river for his hand.
Dominic does make the call. He tanks and he makes the call with the nut flush draw. He also has a pair of 7s. It's a 5 that rolls out and he hits a boat. Dominic hits the boat for the best hand, but it's going to be chopped up because Stormtrooper has the low here, and they're gonna split up Ryan's money. He only had $100 behind him, but they're both gonna make a little something here.
Yeah, but it was a great shove by Hollywood, because if it runs out differently, if he does get Dominic out of the hand, you scoop. If you don't get Dominic out of the hand, where you have the redraw to the scoop with the clubs. So I actually really like the play there.
Jimmy Bluffett said Dominic has no winning low. He would have folded because he feels he's just going to chop the pot. He's putting all of his chips there to chop the pot.
And I agree. I probably fold there. But Dominic has such a big stack, and I think he's here to play big stack poker. And
right. Well, and against a player like Hollywood, though, who's been playing so tight, you know you're
up against
for a chop and you're on a draw.
Yeah. You're drawing to win half the pot, which is never a good spot to be in. So I actually agree with Jimmy. I'm laying down that hand, but we got 3 players at 2.4 or higher. Hollywood at 1.9 thousand. This is where it starts to get fun.
Dana said, I wouldn't play that hand with your money, dude. Well, that's very nice.
I appreciate it. Oh, this is going to be a race. Cass was ace, ace, 3, 4. Suited ace. Raises to 20. Queen 10, 9, 8 call with the suited queen. Dennis makes a call with 9, 8, deuce 4 from the button. So Dennis makes this call, I think, just because he's in position, and position is such an important thing in this game. I don't think he's going to be sticking around now, though, after that flop. Mike flops 3 of a kind kings. Cass has the flush draw. I think it's going to come down to Mike and Cass after somebody bets. So Mike's going to lead out. I'm assuming it's going to fold. Cass will call and he'll fold around.
Jimmy Bluffett says Mike Postle will punish these guys. Wait for it. I agree with that. I got to play with Mike Postle on one stream just for a little bit when Moneymaker was here. He is an excellent player, and he is also just a legendary, known as being an excellent player. I haven't gotten to play with him that much, but I know he's fantastic mixed game player. Follow us on YouTube and Twitch, guys. Hit subscribe. Always get notified whenever we go live.
And actually, that was a really strong fold there where you had the nut flush draw, but since the board had already paired, even if you hit your flush, you don't know if you're up against the boat already, so he just went ahead and folded instead of trying to draw at maybe a hand.
Okay, we've got 2 people in. Stormtrooper raises to 15. He's got ace 9, 3, 3, 3 clubs in his hand. Dennis with king, king, queen, queen, $15 to call.
So king, king, queen, queen, how do you feel about that hand? What are you doing with that hand?
It is, he's got the suited hearts, but it looks pretty, but it's not near as great as you would think. Now he flops a set here. 2 diamonds though. Lucky for him, no one else has diamonds, but he doesn't know that.
There's a lot of straight outs too.
Possibility out there as well. Yeah, Antonio has straight possibilities as well.
I think it's an interesting hand. I don't know exactly the best way to play that hand. I don't mind maybe just calling and hoping to hit a set and seeing how it goes. It's hard to play post flop because like even here where you have the set of queens,
right? So
the
many
flush
turns
draw,
in
the straight
exactly.
draw.
So with that board, you hit your set,
and you're not gonna boat up because unless the board pairs.
Now we have a draw that we could hit a low here. Dennis is going to bet out 55. Antonio calls
With a bunch of different straight draws.
which he does not hit.
Yeah, but he does make his low.
Yeah,
But here's another situation too. Now the flush draw got there though.
Right.
So if he were facing a
Goes
bet,
check.
yeah. But that's a play. So king, king, queen, queen there. If we're playing like 5 ways to the flop there, and you hit your queen, and it gets 5 ways to the river, and the third diamond hits the board, and you get fired into, and you're holding a set of queens, you probably have to lay that down there with that many people on the river, with the flush getting there. It's a hard hand to play. He played it great. It worked out, but that's just one of those hands that's very hard to play post flop.
Yeah, you're talking about wanting to be a winning player in these sorts of games. This is where studying your hand selection and your post flop play is so important, because a set is not that great in this game, especially going multi-way when you've got 4 or 5 players in and there's a super wet board with flushes and straights out there. And you're going to end up being a losing player if you're playing too many of just these big pair hands because they look pretty. It's much better to be playing some of these lower hands, ace, 2, 3, 4, things like that are double suited. Those are the best, most proven hands. Are like a king, ace 3 suited, with the suited ace 3, something like that, are going to be a lot nicer than hands like what we just saw with the double big paired hands. Yeah, we are 5-way in right now with a 6, deuce, 3, 2 hearts on the board. We are going to have a low for sure. Matt has a flush draw, but it's just a 9 high flush draw right now. He's got 75% of the high possibility here.
Matt with top 2 pair with the flush draw.
Yeah, Matt's got 9s and 6s for the best hand right now with the flush draw as well, whereas Cass has 2 pair with 9s and deuces, and he also has the best low possibility.
But he does lay it down. 4 players above 2,000, 2 players at 1,500.
It's getting deeper.
It's getting deeper. You think they'll bring us cookies in here?
You know what? I don't even want to know. I don't know. I am really sore right now. I hit crazy at the CrossFit gym yesterday.
You said you went to Harlan's CrossFit gym?
Harlan's CrossFit gym in East Sacramento, and I am so sore. If you guys see me like rubbing in weird spots, it's because I'm literally super sore today. And I don't want any cookies to mess up what I'm trying to do here. People.
Have you tried the new masseuse here?
I haven't tried the new one.
She's amazing.
I use the original masseuse. I use her like all the time. I love her. She's like super sweet too.
Yeah. I actually 2 days ago tried out the new one, and she is really good.
She's really good too. But what kind of pressure do you like?
I like a lot of pressure.
What's that?
I like a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Okay, that's how I am too. Because a lot of guys only like really light, fluffy.
It's not gonna do anything.
That. Yeah, not about that light. So
Jimmy on both chat groups.
yes, running dual chats just like us. We got three people to the flop. Board comes king, 8, jack, 2 hearts. We've got 2 people with the hearts here. Matt's got the king of hearts, and Mike with just little baby hearts. We're not going to get a low on this hand.
I think Mike's going to go away after not having a low draw.
Yeah, Matt's got he's got a vote. No, he doesn't have a vote.
He has a set of kings with the backdoor flood, or
right.
not backdoor, just.
Yep. So he
check.
Should take this, and he does. Yeah, Mike was drawing dead.
Yeah. I think he's trying to check to induce Mike into bluffing.
Shouldn't bluff. It says Twitch chat haters. I'm in there alone. Yes. Ryan is our short stack. He's only got 200 behind. Antonio doing well at 2.7K.
Yeah, it's not too bad being the only short stack just to try and double up once or twice or one of these guys. Much rather be deep stack though.
Okay, why sit in this game with only $200? Are you just trying to get in with a major draw?
So one of the reasons to sit low, if you think the players at the game are better post flop than you, and you don't really want to be playing post flop, sometimes you just want a short stack and you just want to be able to get it all in and see if your draws get there. So yeah, that's probably my guess is he's just looking for a big draw, get it all in, see what happens, not be forced to make tough decisions. This just in, the short stack's probably the best player at the game. So I don't know, maybe he's just having fun.
We are 4-way to a flop with 9, 10, queen, 2 hearts. Matt has the ace heart, the nut flush draw. Mike has the second nut flush draw. He also has the straight, a possibility you can hit a jack. Mike can hit a jack for a straight as well. We do not have a low possibility. This is only going to be a high.
And this is a hand where you want to see a heart just to see if you can get away with the second nuts. This is one of the games where second nuts gets you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Dominic has a lot of straight possibilities here. That was not one of them, but that did make Mike a set of 5s.
Oh, wow. This is going to be an interesting river.
Oh, wait. Dominic has a straight. Now he's got the king high straight against Mike's got a set of 5s. Dominic bets out 350. Mike 350 to call. I see Mike making the call here, especially because he's got that flush draw, but we don't know if Matt will.
This is going to be a tough call for Matt. Mm-hmm. You are drawing the best hand, but it's... Yeah, do you want to call on a draw?
Right, exactly.
He does have position, though, so if he does hit...
He goes away.
Yeah.
And Dominic is got the best hand here with his straight.
And this card probably saves Mike money because all the straight draws get there with the
See
8.
what sizing Dominic chose here.
Hopefully
he bet out
smaller, a third of the pot, which is a great bet.
So he bet 350 on the turn, and then on the river only 400. He's trying to price Mike in here.
I think Mike figures it out, and he does.
That's why Mike's such a great player. He knows he's speed, and he lays it down.
Yep. That was a great bet, though.
Thank
the 1/3 pot.
Yeah, I like the sizing. He didn't go up too much trying to price in. Jimmy Bluffett says, pretty dress, Kasey, thank you. Yeah, my son picked this dress out. I wasn't going to actually get it, but my son, he's 4, he really wanted this one. He thought this was the prettiest one. And so, he's been begging me to wear it, and it's Valentine's Day. It had flowers and red, so I wore it, and he thought it just made his whole day that I wore the dress he picked out.
That's awesome. There's a better chip runner than Gino.
We're in a little lull here, guys. It's time for you guys to hit subscribe and follow in our YouTube and Twitch so you guys can always get notified whenever we go live. Never miss any of the action. Or even better, come on down and play some poker with us. Always a game going. Discounts on food in the morning for breakfast for poker players. We even have a menu where you get discounted players cards. You're earning money every hour that you sit at the table. You are earning money on that card that can be used for food or Stones Live gear. And we have a lot of really cool Stones Live like hoodies and all kinds of fun
My
stuff.
wife's actually wearing the Stones Life shirt today.
Nice, yeah. A lot of great promotions. They're always doing so many great things.
There's always a lot of splash pods, jackpots going on.
They're always doing high hands. We just had a jackpot hit not too long ago on, I think it was on the stream. I don't know if they were actually streaming at that time, but it was on the stream board where they hit the jackpot as well.
Yeah, even the limit games have baby jackpots too. I hit one of those about a week ago.
We're three-way in here, and Ryan has a pair of 8s right now for the best hand.
Ace deuce low for Mike.
Hit backdoor flush. He folds though because Mike senses that with that board, it's a good one to bluff at. He does.
Well, he had the nut low already.
Oh, he did?
And, yeah,
okay.
and he had redraws to the high, so he was just free rolling.
All right, I missed it.
Yeah, everybody's been really solid today. I haven't seen too many weak plays.
There's been some getting in there with
questionable hands,
starting hands.
Yep.
But beyond that, yeah, I think you're right.
Everybody post flop.
Solid. These people do know how to play.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you are able to play post flop really well, you can open up your range and play more hands. If I was in that game, I'm playing really tight.
Right. Me too. Because I'm not going to feel like I'm the best player at the table, and I'm mostly there practicing and learning my games. It's not my main game, so it's better for me to just play tight and try to see if I can hit some hands. Okay, we've got Antonio. He calls 5. He's got Jack 9-6 suited in hearts. And Ryan's going to check from the small blind. The big blind is also going to check behind. He's got King 9-7-3, 3 diamonds. Ryan in the small blind just got he's got low cards. He's got a lot of the low cards, but let's see. He's actually got the low locked up now. And Antonio.
Not a comfortable low, though.
Yeah, he can't feel good about it. He can't possibly know that he's got it locked up because he doesn't feel like the greatest low there for sure.
But he did great. He put some filler bets out there, trying to gauge where he was at, and actually just took down the hand.
Dana Lope says every hand is questionable in this game unless you have ace, deuce, three doubles.
To a point, you want
more questionable than others.
Yeah, you want your cards to kind of gel together, kind of play with each other, wrap a little bit. Like a lot of the hands they're coming in with are 7, 9, ace, deuce, and stuff like that, where they're not really working together.
Right.
But they play really well post flop, so they can do stuff like that.
Jonathan Little Week coming up Monday on the 19th is going to be the Win the Button Bounty Edition. Then Tuesday, February 20th is going to be the Micro Stakes game. Wednesday is the Veronica and Friends game. So you guys don't want to miss that. Jonathan Little is an amazing poker player. He's written a lot of best-selling books with a lot of the other biggest names in poker weighing in on that. I'm reading one of his Micro Stakes books right now, or actually listening to it on audio. He's just a fantastic player and coach, and we don't want you just. He's going to add so much by being here this week.
He's just very knowledgeable. So
right. I can't wait.
I'm very interested to see just his breakdown of the game.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. Anytime we can learn more and have a player like that who obviously studies and works so hard for the game.
We had aces, kings, and jacks, and the aces.
Nice. And then, yeah, Stormtroopers got jacks and queen 10 with the suited clubs. Mike's double suited with all low cards, although they're not the lowest cards.
They do wrap together, though. They work nicely. Yeah. It's more of a PLO hand.
Yeah,
but
it's great for PLO. And then Dennis with the aces, suited in clubs.
Check the set of aces.
Yeah, he hits the set.
Now he's betting.
But it's out 55. Mike calls 55 because, let's see. He's got the...
Oh, and Dennis has the live 3 also. 3-6 low versus...
Dennis takes it. He's got both. He gets it all here.
You got the wheel and the bow. Yep. Now let's see if he can extract any value out of the hands.
He didn't need a wheel. No. He's got a boat for the high.
And he's got 3,
He's
6.
3, 5, 6
Yep.
for the low.
Mike's got a...
Dennis bets 235. Mike is contemplating.
Mike's got a 7-6-5 ace deuce low. 4 7 6-4. Yeah, 6-5-4 ace deuce. Yeah. Danelope was trying to act like he was a nit. Truth came out. Dom, he can call if he believes his low is good. He heads up. He would just have to have a read. It's a good fold. You probably make that fold most of the time. If he thought his opponent was just on the high and he thought his low was good, he could maybe make a crying call, but he made the right choice like he usually does. Yeah, King Jack, Deuce 3 suited, 8-8-5-4 double suited, 6-5-4-3 wrap with the diamonds. Lots of club, lots of diamonds.
So we get a raise to 25 by Mike here. He's got a lot of low cards and suited diamonds. And
Queen 3.
Called by Dominic and Dennis. But spades, but nobody's got spades. Spade draw, but no one has
one
spades.
of the
Nobody
hands,
has the queen either.
This is one of those hands where the first one to be aggressive is probably going to take it
And
down.
that's Mike. He can sense it, and he's going to take it down. This is what we were talking about earlier, where, even if Mike's not catching all the best cards, he's finding the right spots to make the moves and take down some of these smaller cards.
Mike is an amazing post-flop player.
He can sense, where he's at.
He picks his spots really well.
Yeah, he really, really can sense that this is the right board and the right time that I can make a move here. Jenny Lovett says Postle's making me hangry.
And Chance over and
you do not want hangriness.
Chance over here said, I want to see my boy Cass open up and play some pots. I think Cass is doing the smart thing. He's playing tight, picking his spots. He's definitely playing tighter than a lot of the players, but he's been picking a lot of good spots. He could open up a little more. Ace, king, 4, 6 with hearts.
Yeah. We have got a 6-way pot right now. It was raised at 10. And board comes 7, 8, 4, 2 spades. A lot of straight draw possibilities out there. Let's see here. It looks like right now Dennis with the best of it. He's got the flush draw, backdoor club draw as well, and the low possibility as well.
He would love to see an ace.
So yeah, that would be amazing. The ace, then he would have the nut low.
And then he could fire with the redraw.
Yeah. Ace of spades would be his.
That'd be, oh my goodness.
He'd be in love.
Honestly, I think a better card would just be, although the ace of spades is the only one it is, I think he'd rather hit a different ace and have the redraw for the spades to get more money in with the possibility to scoop on the river. I think the ace of spades is too scary of a card to get more people into the pot.
I see, yeah. And Mike has ace of spades as some possibility anyway. But let's see.
Ace deuce versus deuce
Ben's
3.
continuing his aggression here, and he goes ahead and bets out 60. With Mike actually already has the best.
Mike let out and Dennis folded. And Dominic's actually reached the 3K mark. Jimmy wants to know, how do you get a gold shirt like Hollywood's?
I'm thinking Vegas.
Definitely Vegas. Danilo says, I'm going to move there and roll a bed in this casino and play every day, all day. So I actually have a hammock in the back, so I'm here most days.
Bathrooms are also very nice.
Yeah. Ryan limps in. Hollywood limps in. I don't care how much they put Stormtrooper there. I'm calling him Hollywood.
He'll always be Hollywood to us.
I played Limit Hold'em with Hollywood one time at a 3-6 game where the minimum buy-in is like $30, and he sat down with $2,000 and just built castles.
Hollywood?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a fun player to play with.
Yeah, the first time I met Hollywood, we were sitting at a tournament, and he looks over at me and he says, "Who's gonna say hi first, Hollywood or Poker Mama?" Well, he's so funny. He's funny. Yeah, so he's a really good guy. I guess if you watch a lot of the streams.
Yeah, I got the pleasure to play with him about an hour before we started streaming at the high-low game here at the Limit one. Danilo, you have basically just said my life. I just live off the cookies here, and I sleep in the back, and I show up and play cards.
And I live off of the balsamic chicken salad.
That is so... I had that for the first time last week.
Oh,
it was so good.
I could eat it every day. Although today I did the duck tacos, and they were insane. I saw one of my friends eating the duck tacos the other night, and it just made me salivate for it. I was waiting until the next time I could come back and eat the duck tacos.
So did you add bacon to it?
I didn't add bacon. You guys don't really care to hear this, but I was already had enough of my fat micros for the day, so I left the bacon off. But it was delicious. It had feta and sour cream and lettuce and tomatoes and duck and crispy taco shell.
Yeah, the first time I ordered it, I just got it plain, and then someone's like, "Yeah, you can add bacon to it," and it just changed my life.
Yeah, a lot of people add bacon. Oh, there's so much good. There's so much good food here. So much good food here. I could talk about all day. The sliders, I do add I add jalapeno and avocado and bacon to the sliders when I'm being bad, which it hasn't been lately. But if I'm really having a bad girl day, then. And
it's funny, we've gone over all of this food, and we haven't mentioned the place it's known for. It's their pizzas here. The New York pizza here
gosh, their pizzas, the wood-fired pizzas are
my
insane.
God.
I love it. So many amazing pizzas that you can order here. I recommend the garlic sauce. You can do the white sauce, the garlic sauce. A lot of people don't know this, and it'll change your life.
Yep. The best part about Stones is I'm as passionate about food as I am poker, and you get both here.
Yeah. Food here is insane. I've played in so many poker rooms, like even in Vegas, and the food is nothing like the food here. I mean, it's just food here is top notch, top tier.
And the best thing here is you get table side service. You just the dealers will call service over for you. They bring a table to you with the food. I was in Vegas and you had to go over to a little phone and you had to order on the phone and tell them where you were sitting and then go run back to your seat.
There's another place in Northern California where you have to go over to the phone and order your food. Not here at Stone. The waitresses are on top of it. You want food, they're over there quick. It comes out quick. Service with a smile. They're all super friendly. Like the waitresses, I've been here, becomes one of my best girlfriends. So it's just like really good people.
And Dom, yes, everything with duck is amazing here.
And Matt hits the flush right off the bat with the queen high flush. He has king, queen, queen 8 with suited diamonds. Board comes out 4, 5, 6. Now Mike has a straight, and now we get a second 5 rolling off here. Nobody has a 5 in their hand.
Dennis with the boat versus the flush.
Dennis has the boat with the setup with the 4s.
Ryan with the straight and the emergency low. I want to see if Ryan holds on with his emergency low or if he gets out of the way. And I think that answered my question because he actually let out.
So yeah, he leads out for 50.
I want to see a raise. Oh, Dennis didn't raise.
Calls, and Matt calls as well with his flush. He's going to get the bad news.
So that was something we were talking about earlier, where you have the board pairs. You don't necessarily have the nuts. You have a pretty solid high hand, and you get in a 3-way pot, and you just end up having your money split between 2 other players. The people behind us now are trolling Danelope in the chat.
What's that?
Danelope's like, oh my god, all this, I'm not going to talk about me hungry. I told you what I was doing all day. And then the people behind us like, you hear they got nacho fries now.
Yeah, Taco Bell you would never be able to do Taco Bell again after eating here at Stone's, the saloon. It just wouldn't. And
the crazy part is you go to Taco Bell because it's cheap food. You come here, you're sitting down, you get half off with the players discount. The food is really cheap and it's amazing food. I will order the entire left side of the menu.
And Eric said they should add truffle fries cooked in duck fat to the menu. Hey, you may be able to just order that up special. I don't know. They do a lot of stuff here, but I know they do have truffle fries, which I have not had yet, but they sound fantastic.
They sound amazing.
There's just so many good things on the menu, it's hard to have it all. All right. Dennis calls with the king, queen, 8 deuce. Questionable starting hand here, in my opinion. It is suited in clubs. We've got 5 people in right now.
Dominic has one of those hands I hate.
Yeah, 7-7 right now.
And he spikes the 7.
7, yep. But there are 3 hearts out there. He could hit a boat, though, pretty easily.
Mike with the flush.
Yeah, Mike hits the flush.
Who's got a low? 3-4. Antonio with a 3-4
he does
low.
hit the boat. Dominic now boated up here with 7s full of 6s.
I think this is a spot where Mike knows the board pairs. He might be able to get away. He doesn't have any low. He doesn't have the nut flush and the board pairs.
Antonio folds the low.
Mike's going to come along at least one more.
Yeah, because he could still hit a boat as well if he comes to jack.
Absolutely. Even a 6.
Oh, right.
And there's the jack. There's the jack right there.
That's this game.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier. built on coolers. But you know, he's.
It's not fair to be as good as Mike and to get lucky.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
Well, you know, he did start off in the flop. He had the best hand.
No, he did. Got unlucky.
He got unlucky on the turn, and then got lucky again on the river.
Yep.
So now let's see what happens with the betting here. Dominic bets out 50. Mike's going to put in a raise.
Looks like almost pot. Is that a pot size?
I think he's going to get called here for sure. He puts in a raise too.
What's he losing to? He's losing the pocket sixes, pocket jacks,
45.
pocket twos.
Dominic calls and gets the bad news, and Mike's gonna just add to his chip stack. What a beautiful river card from Mike's hand.
Yeah, I think you're almost never getting away with your pocket sevens there, just because you're only losing to 3 hands.
Right. Exactly. Jada says, the other day at Taco Bell, I ordered a number 6 and a 12-pack of tacos, and I was like, Dad, you want anything? The lady started cracking up.
Vanellope, I need you to come out here, man, so we can get you some real food.
So do we found something to order that?
And Jimmy says, I got a pair of Monster 24K gold Monster headphones, but when I wear them, I look like an air traffic controller, not one of the cool sports stars.
Yes, and Stone is live in Poker is talking about there is a Taco Bell in the parking lot. This is true.
But why?
There is, literally,
but why
in our
would you
lot,
go
like,
to the
connected to our
Taco
parking
Bell
lot, there is a Taco Bell.
when you could walk here?
I completely agree. There's no way anyone here is ever going over to Taco Bell, because not only do we have a poker menu where we get a discount on poker food, but we're also earning money for sitting here and playing. You can use your player's card to pay for your food.
You could,
So,
you sit here. If you sit here for like 5-6 hours, you're eating for free.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. And making money too while you're doing it. If you've been studying and working your game.
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend watching the Jonathan Little and then coming and sitting here and make money, eat free drinks, not alcoholic, but free.
Oh, we have a 3-bet. This is the first time we've seen a 3-bet tonight.
Pre-flop.
Dominic raises to 20 with the 5-4-4-3 suited in spades. Ryan, we don't know what he has. We're still in the dark.
I think
he 3-bets to 75.
I think Dominic might come along with 3-4-4-5 with the suit ace 8
That's
7
what
5.
I was expecting Ryan to have was aces.
Yeah.
He does his ace.
Oh,
7,
and he
5,
hits.
and he immediately hits.
Straight flush. He flopped a straight flush.
Wow.
And Dominic's got a set of fours.
If we get,
this is gonna be beautiful.
If we get a quad 4, we could have
A jackpot.
a jackpot hand. This is a possible.
No,
jackpot hand.
quad 8s at Omaha.
Oh, is it quad
alright,
8s?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that it had to be quad 8s or better.
Oh my God, he flopped a straight flush. Dominic drops, and he smartly checked it, and now he's gonna bet call.
And he hits the boat. Dominic hits the boat.
Oh wow, and Ryan played it so perfectly. He checked the flop.
Option. Ryan goes all in. He only has 121. This is where you really just wish you had more money.
Yeah.
Like you wish you had bought in for more and matched stacks, because you're going to get paid on that board when he hits his boat. And yeah, wow,
That was beautiful. And he played it well, even though he was short stacked. He played the hand to max profit because he checked it on the flop, then he made the bet. It could be just a filler bet, and then his opponent fully caught up on the river, and he got max value with his stack. Like you said, if he was deeper, he gets much more. What a flop!
that was a fun one.
6 players over 1,000, 3 players over 2,500. Dennis is flirting with the 3K.
Mike says it's cheap unless you're a losing player. My pizza cost me $1,500 last Tuesday.
I still remember my $2,000 Corona I had in Mississippi. And they wouldn't let me order unless I played blackjack, and I ended up losing $2,000 by the time my Corona showed up.
Mike, I feel you. It's happened to all of us. We've all had our $1,500 pizzas.
Yes.
Or Coronas. If I just hadn't ordered that Corona.
I'd have been good. I was sober after I drank it.
Ace, King, Jack 5 with the diamonds. calls. The limpage continues. We've got Queen 10-6 with the double suited folded.
I really like Mike's hand. He's got 3 cards of Broadway. He's got 2 cards working on the wheel. Hollywood's got 3 cards working on the wheel. Ryan's hand.
Wish Stormtrooper had, or excuse me, Hollywood. Wish he had some suitedness going on there. Ryan's got 3 8s in his hand. He's suited in diamonds also, but Mike has got the better diamonds in his hand. So if it comes out a diamond board, it could get a little fun.
Yes, Jimmy, Beau Rivage. That's exactly where it happened.
Queen 7 deuce board. We do get 2 diamonds on this board. However, did we lose our other diamond player? Let's see. Now, Stormtrooper has 2 pairs, 7s and deuces. And
Hollywood's got the ace-4 low draw. Mike got the ace-5 low draw.
We don't know what Antonio has yet.
He's gone.
Yeah, Stormtrooper's at 100. Mike calls. The board does make the flush for Mike.
Hollywood has the best low.
Not sure the graphics are just backing up here. Yeah, there we go. Yes, Stormtrooper has the best of the low. Mike has the best of the high. Let's see what goes down here.
I definitely think Mike's gonna fire, and Hollywood.
He's gonna bet. How much did he bet? $70. $70.
170. Yep.
Yeah, Stormtrooper. Oh, he bets 170. Hollywood, we've seen him play really tight.
So ace-3 is the nut low. So he's got the second nut low, which is a scary spot to be in this game.
He really likes to pick spots where he feels almost certain he's winning or skipping, but he likes his spot.
And he has the draw to the boat. He does have a draw at a boat.
If he doesn't hit the boat, but if Mike does not get Stormtrooper to fold, we're going to chop it up here. But let's see if Mike continues his aggression here. Mike checks, and Stormtrooper is going to check behind, I'm sure, I would think. Now Azan sat down in C1, and he is another local crusher, excellent player.
Yeah, we saw him at the beginning of the stream talking to people that were sitting down at the table. He was waiting to get in.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and a friend. He also plays basketball with us on Tuesdays.
But yeah, Jimmy, we were staying at the Air Force Base out there in Mississippi before we went to Mardi Gras, and we ended up going to the Bow and just hanging out. Yeah, I had that $2,000 beer. So it's always fun when a new player sits down to see if the table dynamics change at all. Did it say how much he bought in for?
It did not, but knowing Azan, I would think he would have matched. He probably matched the largest stack. Well, it looks like I see about 1,200 in front of him. So he came in for about average stack.
Yeah. Ace, King, 5
with suited and diamonds. Yeah. It's $5 to call. I think he's gonna pop it up. Yep. And he does. He raises to 30.
Yeah, if you're gonna play aces, might as well play them with as few other people in the hand as possible.
Dominic calls as well as Antonio.
Dominic has been playing a lot of hands, so I'm not actually sure what his range is. He's in position from the hijack, so he could have almost any card, but he has a really strong hand. Ace, King, King.
Bye, Ford. Good to see you. See you on Wednesday.
Have a good one, Ford. Jimmy, I tried playing golf one time, and I threw my club and snapped the head off of it. I'm a very poor sport.
Dominic has pocket kings and ace king of spades. He also has a 4, so he's got a couple of cards with the low, although we are not going to have a low on this hand. Stormtrooper can hit a jack for a straight. He does have aces as well, and we're still not sure what Antonio does. It's always a little bit fun to kind of guess what he's in there with. Dominic bets out 75. Stormtrooper, I see him calling here with the straight draw. There's no flush out there right now, and he's got aces as well, so he does make the call.
And
Let's see what Antonio does.
If he calls, I definitely think he's either.
Antonio does make the call.
So no raise.
King comes out. Now Dominic has 3 kings. He's got a set of kings. And now Stormtrooper can hit, well, it's the same straight. We still don't know what Antonio has.
I think he has a straight. Makes sense.
Yeah, he's looking at betting out, so I think Antonio may already have the straight.
I think he floated with the straight. Now that the second club gets there, he's probably going to add more pressure.
Yeah, he bets out 325, trying to protect his hand or get value out of a flush draw.
Hollywood folds and runs away. 10, and that
comes out.
That's a full house.
That makes the vote for Dominic. And Antonio, who we believe has a straight, hates that card if that's what he has.
Let's see if he bets at it or just checks it.
If he checks, then we're probably right about what he had. If otherwise, if he bets out, who knows?
And Antonio did check, and I got checked back. I can't believe it. Oh no, he bet 500. There it is. There it is.
Antonio calls 500 with, it looks like Queen 9 Ace Jack.
Queen 9 Ace Jack. Yeah, so he was fully wrapped.
So he had the straight. Yes.
Very nice hand for Dominic to pick up.
Andrew, can I switch spots with you?
Absolutely. Hey, it's been a great time being with you guys. I hope you guys have a great day.
So good commentating with you, Andrew. That was awesome. So fun.
So much
Hope we
fun.
can do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, how's it going? That was the last hand for the night, and I'm in here because I just wanted to say something to all of our viewers. It's usually we like to end on a high note with Stones Live, and it has been a great stream. You and Andrew, by the way, great job on PLO. I know you're just learning the game.
Yeah.
I am here to deliver some unfortunate news. We've lost one of our own, Paul Sachs, also known as Doc. He passed away last week. He was a regular here at Stones. We saw him all the time, always friendly, always compassionate, and a lover of the game, just like all of us. And so whenever it is that we happen to lose one in our own community, we like to take a minute to just pay a tribute to them. So we appreciate you guys being here with us tonight at Stones Live for the PLO high-low game, and we'd appreciate it if you would just stay for another 60 seconds or so that we can take a moment and say goodbye to Doc, Paul Sachs. We'll miss you, Doc, and we look forward to joining you in that big poker game in the sky.